What's up, you goofballs? So we have some breaking news in the vintage world of Pokemon card collecting that may destroy a lot of people because they spend a lot of money on these cards and they may all be fake. We're talking about playtest cards today and whether or not the Japanese playtest cards are authentic or not. But before I get into this forum post where they present their evidence on why some might be fake or printed recently rather than back in 1996, I want to talk about some defining of terms and some of this stuff for newer collectors who may have no clue what this is, or even returning collectors, because these are vintage niche cards that most collectors don't even know about, and big boys spend tons of money on, so a lot of people really aren't paying attention to them because they are such a niche thing and they are such a high priced thing. It's not something you'll come across every day. So, what is a playtest card? I'm sure you guys have seen this card. $300,000, which is absolutely insane. That's like 2.5 Happy Meals. That's crazy. This is the Blastoise playtest card. If you've ever looked up like a top 10 most expensive Pokemon cards in the world, this one will show up. Personally, if there was any card I want in my collection as a big boy card, it'd be this one, which I believe has been thoroughly vetted as an actual legitimate card, but who frickin' knows? We'll find out. These cards were sent by Wizards of the Coast over to the Japanese Pokemon Company to show them what they could do with their printers and to bid for the contract to print Pokemon cards back in the day. Because if you'll remember, Pokemon cards were originally printed by Wizards of the Coast from 1999 to like 2002-ish, 2003-ish, whenever Skyridge ended. And this one, there's only 4 of, I believe. Has the Blastoise on the front, Magic Gathering on the back, and the other 2 of them have a blank back, and the other one has like a Japanese back. But I think this is really cool because it's both a Magic card and a Pokemon card simultaneously. And yeah, a lot of people seem to think it's cool as well with that price tag. But yeah, that's what test print cards are. They're kind of like rough drafts or outlines of an essay. You're sending in stuff showing what you can do, what you're capable of before you pick a art direction or pick a style direction and go for it. Another example, these surfaced recently because I think the Blastoise first appeared in like 2018. These started appearing in early 2020, 2021. Disco holofoil test prints. I still don't know if these are truly authentic or not. This was when they were testing the holofoil patterns on the backs of the cards to see if they could do the different colors, the different swirls, the different this, that, and the other thing. These are pretty expensive too. Like this one was $9,000, but there are a bunch more of these in general that have shown up throughout the years. I think the first time I ever saw one was at a convention. It was a Ninetales, and they wanted like $200 for it, but I couldn't tell you if it was a real card or not back then, and I still can't tell you if this is a real card or not. So I was like, I'm good. But there's a lot of these. They were just testing out the capability of their holofoil at the time with these. They'll also do other cards like this. These are test print cards in a way. These are 4-position only cards. They put these into the printers to see how everything aligns, see how things print, see if the colors are right, the text is right, all that kind of stuff. And these are supposed to be destroyed after the fact, but some of these wound up being in packs and doing other stuff. And as you can see, they're very expensive and very rare, which is crazy because I actually have this card. That's right. I'm poker rich, baby. I mean, it doesn't say 4-position only on it, but my Beckett one of this Blastoise was listed as 4-position only. So Beckett says that it's a test print card because Beckett never gets anything wrong. And so I'm going to take it as that. So I'm rich. I can buy 3.5 Happy Meals with that price. Now, the ones that they are focused on for this article is this right here, or this forum post, I should say. I shouldn't say article. These are test print cards in Japanese, which would make these very old, very crazy. Some of them have unique artworks that never saw the light of day. You can tell it's got like a Windows 95 background here. But these cards look very odd. And this is a beta version. Beta versions have a little bit of color. Then there's alpha versions, which are pure black and white. And then I think there's delta versions, which are have a little bit of holofoil on them. I don't see the deltas as much as I see the betas and alphas online. But Golden is freaking swimming with these right now as the time of making this video. I mean, look at this. Just pages and pages of these freaking alpha and beta cards all of a sudden just showing up out of nowhere. Some of them are signed here. And this forum post is claiming that many of them, or possibly all of them, are fake. So let's get into the post here. It's not commonly known, but most brands of printer add metadata to color prints in the form of very tiny yellow dots that can't be seen with the naked eye. To view the dots, you need a magnifying glass or high-resolution image. You need to adjust the color channels to emphasize the yellow. The best way I can describe this to younger people or people who have grown up in the age of the internet is it's like an image reverse search. where you plug in the image in online and it gives you a data code of when that image first appeared online. So if you see a news article where they're like, oh, something terrible happened over here, and you take their headline picture, plug it into the image reverse search, you'll find out that picture's been used since 2011 and they keep reusing pictures. Trust me, try it. It's crazy. They lie about damn near all of their pictures. But it's a timestamp of when it came onto the internet. That doesn't necessarily mean when it was created or anything like that, but that's in the background data of the image. So back in the day, for certain printing things, they would do background images through color dots that you could get time and date out of. But it's important to note, not every printer did this, only certain ones did, and only certain ones have been decoded throughout the years of what the dots actually mean, because they had their own personal internal system, because it was not something that you could just like look at the page and figure out when it was printed. Here's a Wikipedia article talking about how they do it. Then he goes into different brands of printers typically produce different patterns. The most prominently known one is the Xerox DocuColor dot pattern, which was decoded in 2005. This pattern encodes the printer serial number as well as the date and time the page was printed. He then links into this EFF article talking about the DocuColor tracking dot decoding guide, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, we're not going to go too deep into this. Just know it is these little dots right here. There's a lot of technical stuff here. And these little dots, when you zoom out, form into a grid pattern. Once you find what these dots are, you can plug these dots into a grid pattern. It'll tell you exactly when something was printed. So 2005, 6/21 at 12:50. It's basically matching the date that's on the printer. They've even got a little thing down here where you can play around with the dots, add your own, and create your own kind of digital ID on a piece of paper if you want to do that. You can plug this in. There's another website that does that for Xerox, but that's what they did back in the day to do it. And he is finding these dots on some of the test prints. So he pulled up this Beta Nidoqueen, and this Beta Nidoqueen, when put through color filters, you could start to see these dots very, very clearly. Here's a grouping of them, here's a grouping of them, here's a grouping of them, and here's a grouping of them. You then get that grouping of them, plug in the yellow dots, or in this case, red, and when you plug in this exact pattern, you get 2024 6/29 at 8:30 with a serial number. There was also another user here, which I'm going to move myself here just so you guys could see it all, who was also finding out that these dots were appearing on certain cards when you took images of them online, but not others. And you can tell this Ditto looks pretty radically different. This one's like really fuzzy up here, whereas this one's a lot more clear. There's a lot more black dots over here, basically saying that maybe this one's real and this one's fake kind of thing, but kind of just guessing right now. Remember, this is online. Take everything with a grain of salt, even what I'm saying. I'm just some random fat guy in his room talking about what other people are talking about from their rooms. We won't know anything for sure until well after, which is why I'll tell you guys right now, and I'm going to reiterate this at the end. If you find cards like these until you know for sure that there is a, very little doubt that it is a real card, you should not spend any money on them. And then go into looking like this card right now, which is listed over at Fanatics, which has been signed by Takumi Akabane. He has been signing like a lot of different things, showing this card that if you zoom in, you can find the dot pattern, which this one is significantly smaller, which I find very interesting, and you get a 2024 date as well. Same thing with this Eevee here, you get a 2024 date, and again, these dot patterns, as you can see, are all throughout the card. These are just a little bit smaller. And then from what I know so far, alpha prototypes are printed in black and white and therefore have no color dots. Makes sense. Most alpha playtests display a different dot pattern, different printer, and don't seem to include date information. I have found some alpha playtest copies and delta playlist copies that appear to have 2024 dots. And then a lot of people talking about it here. So you're probably asking, Pokerado, is this a real card or not? I don't freaking know, and I don't think we're going to know for a minute until some more investigation is done. Now, typically I like CGC. CGC does a lot of errors, but CGC, like PSA, like Beckett, has graded fake cards before, so it's not entirely impossible that there are some really good fakes floating around. There's a couple possibilities with this right now. Either they're all fake, and someone just came up with this, and they were, printing them out and just did them in different styles on different printers, got CGC to authenticate them, and it's all a load of crock. Or there are real ones mixed in with the fake ones, and you have to kind of go through some different types of things that CGC did not go through in order to see the real ones versus the fake ones. Or they're potentially all authentic, and because they were test printing on different printers, if these were truly cards that they were prototyping and testing out different printers, testing out different paper, testing out different card stock, you name it, there's a good chance that they could all be authentic and all just use different printing methods to, basically make the cards until they figured out which one they were going to use. I have no clue. So my advice, like I said in the beginning, is do not pay this $5,000. This has 5 days still at auction. I bet you this thing's going to get well over 10K, possibly 20 by the time it's done, because this is something that just kind of broke. And I don't know how many people will get a hold of this information and will hold off until they know more. But people are basically looking at this right now, because I've looked at it as well, thinking, well, crap, I could pick up this Pikachu, and in 10 years, I might have a $300,000 card if it's a one of one. Are you kidding me? And so you got to be careful. As soon as you start getting money ball eyes, whatever they're called, you need to step back. And as you guys can see, there are frickin' plenty of them on here, so there's going to be opportunities to get these. I don't think these are ever going to be through the roof expensive like some of the other cards that I'm fairly certain have gone through the ringer of authentication. But I don't know. Time will tell. So my advice, stay back, don't spend your money, just watch it, wait, see what happens. And that's what we have to go off right now. I will probably update this a little later on. I'm not going to do like a daily or weekly update on this because this forum post has been posting a lot of different things and people talking about it, going through it all right here and comparing, contrasting, whatnot. But I want to wait until we get some more definitive information, possibly even something from the Pokemon Company themselves saying, hey, yeah, no, these are legit. We printed them on different printers. They're good. Or say, hey, no, we don't remember these cards. I don't think we ever did this kind of crap. Yeah, I just want to see what happens before I decide to get one of these in my collection. And that's my suggestion to all of you. So let me know what you guys think down below. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, you goofballs.